Hi there, and welcome to Gluten Free and Thriving. Or welcome back if you watched my intro. This is my first real video. Today I wanted to talk to you about the sourdough test. Now, for those of you with celiacs disease, confirmed celiacs disease, this is off the table. This will not help you. Do not have sourdough. It will just hurt you. For those of you with unconfirmed celiacs, this might be a viable option for you to find out if you have celiacs. However, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know your medical history. I don't know your symptoms. There are a lot of diseases out there that are very reactive to gluten. The sourdough test should only be undertaken after speaking with a gastroenterologist and getting their recommendation, because for some people it could be extremely harmful. Please know that. Please talk to your doctor first. But if you're unfamiliar with it, sourdough bread, specifically homemade good bakery type bread, it's long fermented. And the process with the sourdough starter and the dough basically partially breaks down gluten, so it's in a slightly friendlier form for your body, at least for those of us who struggle with gluten. Now, store-bought sourdough oftentimes accomplishes a similar flavor by adding vinegar or something, so don't do this with store-bought sourdough. Get real fresh baked, long fermented sourdough. If you are undertaking the sourdough test with a recommendation from your doctor, do not do this on your own. If you have something other than, it could be so harmful. Just don't. Okay, moving on. If you are undertaking the sourdough test, the theory is if you are able to handle sourdough, it's probably something not celiac, so IBS or some other disease. A gastroenterologist will be able to tell you based on your symptoms and medical history what the likely culprits are. So when I saw a gastro, he basically told me that based on my symptoms, if I could eat good sourdough without having the same kind of massive inflammatory reaction that I have from gluten, then it's not celiacs, it's IBS. So I undertook the sourdough test 2 days ago, and the fact that I'm smiling today means that I passed. So when I react to gluten, it is a full body experience. It is not a stomach issue. It is horrible brain fog. I get stupid. Not a little. I get full stupid. I'm a writer by trade, and I can't write for a few days after I have gluten. Because I can't think. I can't make words appear. So brain fog, horrible joint pain. A lot of times my skin will break out, and not zits, just flaky red patches. It's weird. And then obviously the stomach issues come with it too, but the stomach issues are the least horrible part. Anyway, so for me, I was pretty well convinced that I had celiacs. It's what I've been telling people. I mean, I know it's unconfirmed, but I have been telling waiters and stuff because I need them to take the gluten issue seriously. So I did the sourdough test, and I had my husband slice the bread, which I got from my cousin who's a baker. So he sliced me off, like it was a big loaf of bread, so he sliced me like a quarter of a slice from the middle. And I took one bite and we waited 10 minutes because more than that, we didn't want me to be sick for like weeks or a week or like hospitalized. I've had some pretty intense gluten reactions. Yeah. So I took one bite and I waited 10 minutes. And then I was fine. So I ate the rest of the slice, the little quarter slice. And you guys, that was the best bread I've ever had. It sat in my freezer for 6 months. My husband said this bread is ruined and threw the rest out. That was the best I've ever had. Yeah. So I did the sourdough test with freezer burned sourdough. And I waited like a half hour. And the worst I had was like a little bit of gas. So the difference, the reason that it matters, the reason that it's worth doing the test with your doctor's advice, if your doctor advises it. If they don't, please don't do it. But the reason that it's worth the test, operating under the assumption that I had celiacs, meant that the way that I was managing my condition was just avoiding gluten and learning like what things were cross-reactive or what things could be grown alongside wheat and might have little trace amounts of gluten, because I have a lot of other foods that I react to. So like chickpeas and yellow peas are sometimes grown near wheat. So are oats. So like when getting oatmeal, I will get gluten-free oatmeal. Sometimes like the same equipment processes it as well. So you have to buy gluten-free oatmeal if you're gluten-free. But if you have IBS, it is a very different treatment plan or management plan. It's not really treatment for either. They're manageable conditions. Celiacs, you manage it with a complete gluten-free lifestyle alongside possibly some vitamins depending on how much existing damage you have and like what vitamins you might be missing that you would normally get from bread. And then for IBS, yes, avoid your triggers. And yeah, I might need vitamins, but depending on what I'm missing. But alongside avoiding your triggers, which I have more than just gluten-related ones, I was afraid I had both conditions. Alongside managing your triggers, or avoiding your triggers, it can be improved for some people. Not everyone responds well to it, but it can be improved with like probiotics. And I've historically had very good luck with probiotics. I've been eating a lot of yogurt recently, and I have found that I am less reactive to a couple of foods that I was starting to react to, like oats, even the gluten-free ones. Yeah, so I have like a laundry list of foods that I can't have or that I've not been tolerating well, and some of them are turning from like never to small amount. Yeah. So for me, the test was worth it. It matters to know what my condition is for how to manage it. I mean, I'm still going to be living gluten-free for the most part. I might have a little sourdough once in a while. The first thing that occurred to me was, hey, sourdough would make a good pizza, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah, but just the ability to work on healing my body. And I have been working on my health, so like losing weight and that kind of thing as well. Trying to move more and get physically stronger. It makes a huge difference. It's a game changer to know what's going on. So, if you decide to do the sourdough test, or if you've done it in the past, or if you know about like similar things, don't hesitate to comment below and just like kind of talk about your experience with it. I, again, definitely talk to a doctor first. This isn't the kind of thing that you want to just do, because for certain conditions it could be really doing a lot of harm. Yeah. So, like, I know one of the conditions my doctor really wanted to eliminate was Crohn's disease. I don't really know much about it, but I have a feeling if you're reacting to gluten and you have that, then this would be a very bad idea. Yeah, so just be aware of, like, which conditions you might have, what you're trying to eliminate. The idea is just to eliminate celiacs without having to have gluten every day for 6 weeks. Which, I suppose, if you want to get celiacs confirmed, sourdough could be day 1. But, you know, proceed with caution and medical advice from a medical professional, not me. I'm not one of those. Sorry if that's getting repetitive. A, I don't want to hurt people, and B, I'm very much not one, and I don't want you to think I am or think this is medical advice. Well, I guess that falls into don't want to hurt people, but also like legal reasons. So yeah. It was worth it for me. If you talk to a doctor and they tell you to do it, it may be worth it for you too. Yeah. I'll see you next time I have something like actually to share. I'm not posting regularly to this channel at this time. It's more like when I have a tip. When I have something of value to share, I'll add a video. Yeah.